I got to be honest. It's all over for Belichick. This is RamView.
It's hot out there, but let's blow them off the line of scrimmage. Headline, Los
Live from the RamCave, I'm Joe Trosian, and this is RamView, the September 3rd, 2025 edition. Brought to you by Kistler Law Firm. Injured in an auto accident, need help, got questions? Call Kistler Law at 661-206-6990. That's Kistler Law at 661-206-6990. And check out KistlerLawFirm.com. That's one word, KistlerLawFirm.com. Kistler Law, they've been fighting for you since 92. And by Temple City Auto Repair. Having some auto issues, get yourself some John and Henry at TempleCityAutoRepair.com. All right. Before we get to the Rams, I just want to be careful here.
Stay in your lane, bro.
I'll stay in my lane. But that Monday night game, I mean, I was caught up with family being around, Labor Day, working yesterday, and all that kind of stuff. But I caught that Belichick debut, and you know, losses happen, all that kind of stuff. But let me just tell you, man, that girlfriend being on the sideline, it's over for Belichick, man. It is over. There are all kinds of phrases we can use, but it's over. And his son must not love him, because anybody that really loves him would tell him he's being played for a fool. I'm sorry. You know, there's certain places, you know, maybe he loves her, maybe she loves him, but she's working. He's working, and she's on the sideline, and he's talking to her. I got to tell you something. Maybe it might not be relevant to you, but it's relevant to me. It works for me. Is I was in my mid-20s, and I'm leading a Bible study as a youth pastor, and my mom came in and sat in the back of the room, and it threw the whole thing off. I ended the study, and I said, "Mom, what are you doing here?" She goes, "Oh, I just wanted to say hi." And I said, "No." I said, "Not when I'm working." "No, sorry." Was I bad for doing that? I just can't believe tough guy Belichick, right? Hardcore Belichick, and he's allowing that stuff to happen. Unbelievable. Unbelievable. All right, hey, tomorrow night the season starts. They're kicking it off with Dallas going to Philly, and we're going to look at tomorrow night's prediction, or this week's predictions, also my season predictions. Not a lot of new breaking news for the Rams, some uniform changes, no roster changes right now, other than Matthew Stafford has been set to go, and so is Alaric Jackson from the last I heard, and all that drama, all that fear, all that stuff that was being perpetuated over and over and over again is in June. Oh, gosh, what are the Rams going to do at left tackle? Well, even if Alaric Jackson gets off to a slow start, there's DJ Humphries. If he needs a breather, they got DJ Humphries, all right? Matthew Stafford is set to play. Yeah, of course he's going to be managed. He should be managed anyway at 37, whether he has a back problem or not. But it seems like them talking about Matthew Stafford's going to be managed week to week. That's the thing they're grabbing onto. It's like, well, he's going to be managed week to week. Every quarterback's managed week to week. Anybody that's nursing an injury, he rolls an ankle in week 1. He's going to be nursing that ankle through week 9, 10, 11, 12, and 13, right? So I'm marveling at the KBM trying to look for something, and marveling at how, well, so much, again, talk about the 49ers, but then when they downgrade the Rams, and they say there's problems on the offensive line, but they completely don't talk about anything about the 49ers. I'm stunned. I'm just stunned. So a lot of stuff going on. Again, a lot of stuff going on, getting ready, but we're ready for, we're going to talk about games, predictions, and where we see things playing out this year. Let's see. Mikey Gutierrez, finally, game week is here. We made it. It's here. And we're going to watch the Eagles crush the Cowboys. I was actually listening to Steve Hartman's show on 570. What day was it? Oh, I listened to a podcast of a Sunday broadcast, and I was out working in my yard, and he was talking like the Cowboys could go 12-5. Huh? What? Help me. I don't get it, right? I don't get it. USA Expat. Did you notice several players changed numbers, including our guy Forbes? I did. I saw that he took Darian Kendrick's number. So good for him, right? Good for him. And yeah, I did see that. I think Jarquez Hunter went from 35 to 27. And Josiah Stewart took number 10. I thought that was interesting, right? I thought that was really interesting. I wish they let the quarterbacks wear 21 or 22. You know, if they're going to get this crazy, let's do it, right? And here's the thing. Anybody can wear any number, but we know down linemen, right? We know ineligible linemen, numbers number 50 through 79 are ineligible. I've known that most of my adult life. The officials know that. The players know that. Can we avoid, and the NFL won't do it because the NFL has no competition, so they have no reason to change this. Can we avoid the 1.5 yard ineligible player downfield penalty? Even the defenders know that number 65 is not going to be receiving a pass, right? And they already have to report if they are going to be eligible due to formation. But that's one of the things that bugs me. Yeah, you got numbers everywhere. They're kind of loosening up on what numbers everyone wears. But 50 through 79 are offensive linemen that are those numbers. They are ineligible to catch a pass. Therefore, if they're 1 3/4 yards downfield, 1 2 yards downfield, you know they're not in the pass route. And you could tell easily if they're just running downfield to disrupt somebody, and you could flag that. But somebody who strays 1.5 yards beyond the line of scrimmage on the far side of the field, please, NFL, clean this up, right? There we go. Brian Smith says hi. Thank you, Brian. Rams are ready to go. Manny Vasquez, thank you. USA Expat, how did you like the new Behind the Grind? Oh, did they release one finally? I did not watch it. I will watch it tonight before I go to bed. I did not do that. Sorry. I was waiting for it to drop, and I guess I missed it. Let's see. Manuel Vasquez, got your book I ordered yesterday. Game Day in the RamCave. Looking forward to reading it. Oh, that's awesome. You are my ambassador of Quan today, Manny Vasquez. Thank you so much. ESG. It should be Washington versus Philadelphia instead of Dallas. That would be a much better game. But, you know, people still work off the concept that Dallas is important, right? They're still working off that concept, and I think they're in for a miserable year. Yet some people are predicting them to go 12-5, and I'm just blown away by that. I don't understand it. That I didn't think they'd have a winning season even with Micah Parsons, which brings you back to another question about the money you're paying those edge guys. Yeah, we'll talk about that. Let's see. Tim Burns, Belichick's baddie is a D-backs coach. Oh, okay. Let's see here. Tim Burns, Game Day in the RamCave is a great book. Yes, Mr. Burns, preach. Bill, Behind the Grind had a nice feature on Higbee and his daughter at the beginning. Very nice. I'll check that thing out. All right. No changes in the roster. Everything's still the same. Everything's still rolling in from there. I just wanted to kind of follow up on a few things here. Offensive line, Rams are carrying 10 offensive linemen. And that's interesting because, you know, Alaric Jackson, DJ Humphries, and David Quisenberry, who's a veteran, made this roster. I thought he was going to be traded or moved. And then you got Diedick, who played the undrafted free agent last year, who started 3 games, acquitted himself pretty well behind Avila. You got Limmer and Shelton, or Shelton then Limmer. You got Kevin Dotson, and then you got Warren McClendon behind Havenstein. And there's a lot of depth here. And instead of keeping a young guy for development, I don't even think Willie Lampkin would have made this team, guys. I really don't. I think the desire was to have as much experience on that offensive line as possible. And that's going to be a big part in week 1. And I'll share on Sunday. Let me go through this roster real quick here. A lot of talk about who's going to be starting at corner. Honestly, count the snaps on defense. Just count the snaps. That's the most important thing. And who's in there in the 4th, right? It's all about counting the snaps because that'll tell you who they value, who they want in there at the end. And the most important thing to me is just the rotation. Because to me, right now, until Forbes separates himself, you could go with Witherspoon, Durant, or Darius Williams interchangeably. And Forbes right now, too, you can do that. But my thing is that when he separates himself, he'll really separate himself. Same thing with the safeties, although Quentin Lake is kind of special because he can play that star position. And so the Rams are there. It looks really good. Getting back to that offensive line. And Rams are going to win. Rams are going to win on Sunday. It's going to be a 2-possession win. So I think that could be 10-0 or by 10 points, not 10-0. 10 points, 14 points, maybe 9 points. Okay. But I see the Rams winning this game. And I know people are going off on Daniel Hunter and Will Anderson and Alaric Jackson not practicing. I just don't know if they're going to get a chance to do that because the center of that Houston Texans defense is hollow. And the Rams have strength up the middle. And I could just see the Rams just pounding the ball. In fact, I would hope they would do that and just pound and pound and pound and, work it out to where, for every 10 carries Byron gets, Corum gets 5 and give Jarquez 2 or 3. I know a lot of people are pushing for Jarquez. My thing is we got to see an NFL game where Jarquez could pick up the blitz, right? Jarquez might be more explosive. He might be exciting, and everyone might want to see him. But do you think McVay is going to put a running back out there that can't do pass protection, right? That's going to be a big deal on how much action Jarquez Hunter is going to see. See Zach Evans and why he's no longer in the NFL and why he couldn't get on the field for the Rams. Let's see here. It seems like Cowboys, no matter what, get shoved down our throats. Absolutely. They do. They always get shoved down our throats. Good call there, ESG. Tim Burns, they always overestimate Cowboys' success. It's pathological. There you go. Micah Gutierrez, once again, we got to hear Rams players praying in behind the grind. Love that. They're representing their faith. That's that. What I think, I think that's great. The players are praying, but a little bit of shift in culture that they would show that. Most of the networks go to great lengths to make sure the players that meet at the center of the field after a game, they don't show them praying, right? They might make great lengths to make sure that doesn't appear in the background, and that behind the grind would do that. That's pretty cool. So yeah, I do remember from the early one, was it Davis Allen, Kobe Turner, and was it Jared Verse? No, it wasn't Jared Verse. Who was it? It was one other guy that was there. I can't remember who it was. But they were praying at the table. So that they would leave that in and not edit it out is pretty interesting. Yeah, thank you, Micah. USA Expat. As always, this game will be won in the trenches. You're speaking of the Ram game. Yeah, I think what'll happen is I think if the Rams pound that ball up the middle in the A and B gaps there, they just pound it. It's going to open up play action. And there's some talent there on that other end of the back end of the Texans defense, but if they're pounding the ball, there's going to be trouble. And then that Texans offensive line is horrendous. They're starting a rookie at left tackle, the kid from Minnesota, the Golden Gopher, and so there's issues there. And Titus Howard missed a lot of preseason time too, not just Alaric Jackson. So I think the Rams are in really good shape in this game. The only thing is that sometimes, we're kind of conditioned to bad starts, right? We're just conditioned, and then we're living on edge for the next 8 weeks until the Rams climb back in it. Hopefully, Rams can take care of business at SoFi. Let's see here. USA Expat, will McVay use more 12 personnel to double down on their edge rushes? I think that's a great call there, USA Expat. I didn't even put that in my notes. But he's been talking about more 12 personnel. Why not, right? And who does it take snaps away from? Take snaps away from Tutu probably. And McVay never hesitates to take snaps away from Tutu. But that's a good pull there, USA Expat. Yeah, probably a little more 12 personnel, double tight ends. And is that going to be Higbee and Parkinson? That's going to be really interesting there. That's a good call. Wow. Yeah, nice work. Bill, what do Reeder and Marchison have on McSnead? Should not be on the roster. There are better people on waivers than those two. Murchison really surprised me. Really did. Reeder wasn't a surprise when he didn't play. Again, I've made that argument about Reeder's comfort food, right? Just like some of these players are comfort food for the coaches, and he's that guy for the Rams. Troy Reeder is. So I didn't want him to make the team, but I wasn't surprised he did. Murchison, boy, he didn't play more than 5 snaps last year, and he moved ahead of DeSwan Johnson on the depth chart. And that's another one. Let's see if DeSwan Johnson gets any snaps and where he gets snaps at. Rams have 4 edge rushers active, and DeSwan Johnson in that last game against Cincy played a lot of edge. And so that'll be interesting to see, especially for the next, month or so until Kerr Thomas comes back. Tim Burns, Steeler fan Rob will be in tears when the Jets put up 35 on the Steelers. What do you think? They just lost Vera Tucker for the whole year there for the Jets. I was leaning Jets, and I'm not sure now with the Steelers. I'm not sure, but I got to believe that pass. I don't think the Steelers' offensive line is that great, and I got to believe the pass rush of the Jets will disrupt them. Then you got Sauce Gardner out there. Everyone's going to want a piece, right? Jets players and Aaron Rodgers. Everyone's going to want to get their dig in this game. So I imagine it could be pretty physical. This should be the Thursday night game, right? I think we all would have been interested in this game. Manuel Vasquez, a nice blowout win would be nice to start off the season. Does that happen with the Rams, right? Outside of the playoff game against the Vikings, and the Rams get blowout wins, I'd really like one. Yeah, put that one on order from Amazon for me. Manuel Vasquez, Hunter does need to block, but that worries me about Adams as well, because Kupp was a great blocker, and McVay needs that from his receivers. Yeah, the Rams were quick to sign him. And I was talking to Tim Powers in Irvine, I think in February, right when the Jets were before the Jets everyone knew the Jets were going to put Devontae Adams in the street. And I just said it off the top of my head. I said, Jets put Devontae Adams in the street. Rams should sign Devontae Adams. And that wasn't a prediction. I'm not trying to score more points here. I scored my Forbes. I'm good. But the Rams signed him pretty quick, right? He came to LA pretty quick. And that told me is that Rams are full belief that Devontae Adams is a Ram quality receiver, that he is going to be willing to knock heads a little bit to get some players freed up. Tim Burns, they may try to avoid showing prayer, but they have no problem showing kneeling. Of course not. Of course not. Are you suggesting the networks have a worldview? Well, what are you talking about there, Mr. Burns? ESG, the Rams should feast on C.J. Stroud. They really should. They really should. And they're not going to have Joe Mixon. They got they got Chubb coming back. Nick Chubb coming back. And we're going to find out what he's got left in the tank because his playing time's been limited the last few years. The Rams really should be all over Stroud. Really should be. And I don't like their receivers. Tank Dell isn't back. They got Nico Collins, and then Dalton Schultz. Dalton Schultz is an okay tight end, but I don't know, really. I don't know if they're loaded with weapons, right? So Rams should have a field there, ESG. I think the Rams D-line will get at least 5 to 6 sacks and a lot of pressures against that bad Texas O-line. Rams 27-17. If the Rams win 27-17 and they get 5 to 6 sacks and they come out of that game unscathed, no injuries, no worries, new concerns about Stafford, everyone's gonna start buying Ram stock again, right? Colin Cowherd moved the Rams in this, do his top 5 or something in this hierarchy, right? It always happens that way. Mike Gutierrez, week 1 in 2023, we took care of Seattle. That game blew me away. That game, I was expecting. That's when the Rams, I think they attributed it to the gap system as opposed to the stretch and the outside zone run scheme. And man, they just ate up the Seahawks. And Pete Carroll actually looked lost in that first game. And then, of course, Puka dropped his first pass that was thrown to him, and then Stafford kept going to him. That was Tutu Atwell had a great game. That was the game where Geno Smith saw God when Aaron Donald was bearing down on him, and he cried out, "Oh God!" Right. So There we go. Neil Gonzalez, hi, Pastor Joe. I can't wait to see this offense cook and the defense dominate. See, I have every confidence in the defense. I really do. And I think it's going to be better than it was last year. I think a little bit stronger with Forbes in the cornerback room. I think it's stronger in the linebacker room. Safeties are more experienced now. And I like the front seven. So this is looking really good. But it's the offense I do want to see. I want to see something, that we saw in those early McVay years, because it was just too close last year. Everything was just too close. DHP, it's great to see you, Joe. Thank you so much. I do apologize. I think most of the holidays and everything are out of the way. And so Monday we're done. Tuesday I was off, and we're here, and we'll be here on Friday. We'll come back on Friday. We'll talk about. I'm trying to think if I might go on an hour early on Friday, because we've got the Brazil game, and which is stupid. It's another dumb thing. I can't. Again, players union is not on the player side. They should never agree to this. If they're going to play a Brazil game or an overseas game or an out-of-country game, that should be the opener on a Thursday night. Give those guys extra days rest. But any knowledge or idea that the players union looks after the players is completely forbidden there. All right, let me blow through here real quick. My name is Joe Chirozzi. I'm a sports writer for 21 years. Still am. I actually wrote a game story for Mid-Valley Sports last week when I was on vacation. They needed some help, and I was in Las Vegas, so I did that. So I'm still writing sports, contributing to Mid-Valley Sports. I gave them my top 14 college teams. They're just the 14 teams I saw play, and so I didn't rank Alabama and Florida State, but yeah. You can check that out on Mid-Valley Sports. I'm hoping to get on the air tomorrow with FanView. I don't know if I'm going to be able to, but I think I got everything set to do that. My schedule is filling up. So that's going on. Thank you for buying my books. I do appreciate that. That keeps us in business. And, of course, Kistler Law. That keeps us in business, too. And if you got an auto issue, check out Kistler Law, and they'll take care of you, and it all keeps me employed in my day job. I pastor a small church in Burbank Faith Nazarene, and we're right here on YouTube at Burbank Faith Virtual, burbankfaithvirtual.com, Burbank Faith Virtual all across social media. And so thank you for that. Be sure to check us out on iHeart and Spotify for RamView from the RamCave. Check out our podcast in the audio form, which we're still trying to figure out to get some traction. I mean, we got like zero traction there. All right, real quick here. Is it just me, or is everyone making too much out of Matt Patricia, right? Suddenly Matt Patricia's Buddy Ryan, Matt Patricia's Dick Limbeau. Suddenly he's Bud Carter. Matt Patricia, right? And I just feel like they're making too much out of Matt Patricia. I don't know. I'm kind of curious about that. Let's see, a couple more questions came in. Neil Gonzalez, final score prediction, Joe. 24-8 Rams. There you go. I said it. No, let's make it 24-7 Rams. 24-7 Rams. I said it. Boom. That's right there. I said it. Rams 24-7. There we go. If it does turn out to be 24-7, my advice to you is unfriend me now, because if you thought I was bad about being right about Emmanuel Forbes, watch out, man, because anyone's going to be tooting his horn. It's going to be me if it's 24-7. There we go. Bill. Our rookie tight end is fourth on the depth chart. How long does that last? Check out the snaps. I think a lot of that stuff's going to be interchangeable. I think as time goes on. I think injuries. Does anyone expect Tyler Higbee to be healthy for 18 weeks? I don't think any of us expect that. I can imagine at certain times Tyler Higbee's going to get the night off or the day off, or play few snaps. So I look at that room in constant, flux. I think you had to put somebody fourth, they put him fourth. But I'm not too worried about that. USA expat, Bill Belichick's partner, turning him into the second coming of Prince Harry. Oh man. Could you imagine Jordan and Meghan having a podcast together? There you go. Good call. USA expat. Okay. My predictions for the season. AFC East, Bills. Easy call there. And of course, everyone could say, everyone stays healthy. We all know that's just, everything we post here is if everyone stays healthy. AFC East, Bills, Patriots, Jets, and Dolphins. I'm not a fan of the Dolphins. I think Mike McDaniel is on the hot seat. I think the Patriots under Vrabel are going to turn a corner. Keep your eye on the Patriots. And I think the Jets will be competitive. I think you're going to get some of that Dan Campbell competitiveness from Aaron Glenn. They might not be successful, in wins and losses, but they're going to be laying down track. And if the Jets stop being the Jets, they might have an opportunity to do something going into the future. AFC North, Ravens, Bengals, easy call. Steelers, no. Steeler fan Rob's not going to like it. Steeler fan Rob, if they live for it in Pittsburgh now, hey, we had a winning season, right? That's not winning playoff games or Super Bowls. Hey, we had a winning season, right? And we have 6 Super Bowl titles. They do all that stuff there. You're not going to have a winning season. I don't see them. 8-9, 7-10. And then, of course, the Browns are the Browns. AFC South, Texans, Jaguars, Colts, Titans. Titans just aren't there yet. Colts, they need a quarterback. If Daniel Jones has the year of his life, maybe they make some noise. Jaguars are going to bounce back. Trevor Lawrence, everyone loves to bag on him. I think he's a good quarterback. And then the Texans. But the Texans got some issues. The Texans have some issues, and I think we're going to find out how much the Rams exploit them. If the Rams come out of that game with a sack or just 2 sacks, then maybe the Texans' offensive line is something that could hold up. If the Rams completely derail that offensive line with 6 or 7 sacks, Texans are going to have problems, and the Jaguars are going to give it to them. And in the AFC West, you're always supposed to take the Chiefs, but I'm going with the Broncos. I think all the momentum is on the Broncos side. I think the Chiefs are not going to fold, fade away, or anything like that, but I'm going with the Broncos and the Chiefs. Chargers, too many injuries, too many questions have creeped up. I think they're going to be competitive, but I'm going with them in 3rd place. And the Raiders, I think, will be really improved, but the Raiders are a 4th place team because there's no place to go there in the AFC West. Let's keep moving on here. Neil Gonzalez, who do you think is the 2nd best team in the NFC West? All right, we're going to get there, Chief. I'm coming. Tim Burns, she was asking Belichick for concession stand money. About 30 grand should do it, she said. Oh, that's funny. Steeler fan Rob retracted a message, so it was probably profane. So, okay, there we go. He's all over me. NFC East, Eagles, Taxkins, Giants, and then the Cowboys. NFC, and I would have done that even with Micah Parsons. I'm not a believer in the Cowboys. NFC North, I'm going Lions, Packers, then I'm going Bears and Vikings. A lot of people are high on the Vikings. I saw what the Rams did to the Vikings offensive line last year, right? And I saw when they had a full complement of their receivers. And J.J. McCarthy might have a great career, but at this point, he's not better than Sam Darnold. So, and I think there's a lot of momentum right now with the Bears. So the Vikings are going to be in last, Bears 3rd, Packers 2nd, Lions 1st. NFC South, Buccaneers, easy call if injuries don't derail them. Falcons, I'm sorry to say, I like them in 2nd. I can't buy into the Panthers just yet. Saints 2-15. If the Saints go 2-15, they should have a party because, they could go 0-17. NFC West, Rams in 1st, 49ers in 4th, and then it's down to the Seahawks and the Cardinals. And I don't trust Kyler Murray. I'm going to go Seahawks. There's your answer, man. Seahawks are 2nd best team in the NFC West. Cardinals 3rd. Cardinals missed the playoffs, and then they start doing some thinking about Kyler Murray going forward because I think they've got their front office and their head coach set, but it's going to be an issue here. They're going to need a quarterback. Who are my playoff teams? In the AFC, I got Bills, Patriots, Ravens, Bengals, Texans, Broncos, Chiefs. So let's get rid of the Texans. They're easy. They're going. We'll get rid of the Patriots. It's too soon. And then that brings it down to the Bills, the Ravens. Let's see. The Bills, the Ravens, the Bengals, the Broncos, and the Chiefs. I'm going to take Texans are out. There we go. And I'm going to take in this one, Ravens are out because I don't trust Lamar. Bengals upset them. Broncos and Chiefs. I'm going to take the Chiefs over the Broncos. And then you got the Ravens, Bills, and Chiefs. I'm going with the Bills. Bills coming out of the AFC. I'm going to drink the Kool-Aid like everybody else and go from there. In the NFC, I got the Eagles, the Texans, the Lions, the Packers, the Buccaneers, the Rams, and the Seahawks. And in that one, that one's pretty simple there. I don't think the Texans are ready. I think the Eagles are going to take a step back. Everyone's all in love with the Eagles right now, but I think they're going to take a step back. Lions and Packers. Honestly, it's the Rams. Come on, it's the Rams. Rams, Bills in the Super Bowl at Levi Stadium. Is it Levi? Is that where they're playing? That's what I see. There you go. All right, let's see what we got here, guys. Rob Sawyer, Steeler fan. Wake up, Joe. Bengals aren't going anywhere with that defense. But you're not going to go anywhere with your offense, Steeler fan Rob. You're not going anywhere with your offense. No disrespect, flashing my bling. You're not going anywhere with your offense, and you've already got an injury on your defensive line, and you got an older Cam Hayward. You got TJ who can get nicked every now and then. I mean, Jalen Ramsey is not what Jalen Ramsey used to be, so I'm not trying to start a fight here, right? I'm leaning Bengals right now. They persuaded me. There you go. 49 Neil Gonzalez. Wow, 49ers fourth. Good call. To me on that one, they're talking about, the 49ers have weapons. Well, where are the weapons? Oh, is it the Methuselah aged Christian McCaffrey? Is it the aged Trent Williams who missed half the season? Is it the excellent but older George Kittle? Dominic Puny's out. He's got a PCL strain or tear at right guard. He's out. Jake Brendel's an average center. Colton McKivitz is an average right tackle. They're starting Ben Barch at left guard, and who is that dude, right? And then you got the aging Trent Williams. Robert Saleh is a good DC, but Bosa, you're going to count on a Bosa? Fred Warner's getting older. I mean, this is not good vibes there. And I got a feeling they're going to get roughed up there in Seattle, and everyone's going to ask what's going on. Last place for sure for the 49ers. I feel very good about that one. USA Expect, it'll be easy for Ram fans to fill up Levi Stadium for the Super Bowl. Yeah, but all those tickets are going to go to those West Siders, right? All the media elites, and Rams are going to bring in everybody but their fan base, just those temporaries. Tim Burns, Joe T has a Kyler Murray T-shirt on under. He loves him some Kyler. I hate him. A's wasted a number one on him. No, man, I got Kyler Murray in third place. He's not going to the playoffs. If you hear the podcast coming out of the Arizona Cardinals realm, they're saying that enough's enough. He's been there since 2019. It's time to get a playoff win. It's time to make some noise. This is a team they built around him enough to make some noise. And they're saying if it doesn't happen, then by the end of this year, the Cardinals might be looking at other options beyond Kyler. There's trade bait, right? There's trade bait. There's the next future Steeler quarterback, Kyler Murray. There you go. Manuel Vasquez, winning the Super Bowl in Levi Stadium would be adding salt to the wound, and I'm all for it. Planting a flag, yeah, I like that. Tim Burns, is TJ still in Rob's basement? There you go. I don't know. It's pretty heavy fanboy. Steeler fan Rob, offense is better than the Bengals defense. You're counting on Aaron Rodgers and DK Metcalf, right? You're counting on Aaron Rodgers and DK Metcalf. And for some reason, maybe they'll work Freiermuth back into the offense. The kid from Colorado, Iowa, the third round running back, he's a downgrade from Najee. You got Jalen Warren, you extended him. I'm just not buying it, right? I'm not buying it. If it all works out, good for you. But I'm not buying it. And you could be the first one to come back here and say the Bengals suck and I blew it. Packers, Steelers in the Super Bowl. Man, you get that bet, man. Go put that bet down in Vegas, man. You'll be rich for life. All right. Mike Gutierrez, if Rams win the Super Bowl, do you think Stafford will retire? I don't want him to retire. They got him on the clock for another year. If he plays well, that means the Rams win the Super Bowl. Yeah, I want him to stay. But at this point, 2 Super Bowl rings, 4 daughters. I think it's 4 daughters. a wife, at some point, does the wife say, honey, you've played enough, right? This guy's made, 364 rocks in his career? I wouldn't be surprised if he walks away. I just hope he lets them know. I hope if he lets them know, then, Kroenke, when he's handed the trophy, can say, this one is for Matthew, and hands it to him, and then we know he's retiring, and we can begin to reconfigure. But yeah, I wouldn't. I would. I think I would. If I made that much money, my kids were young, and I taken the beating that Stafford has, I would. Tim Burns, I think Cincy is a paper dragon now. Steelers are above the Bengals. Oh, man, are you traveling to Missouri there, Mr. Burns? Are you trying to get on his good side? I don't know, man. I don't know. Okay, let's keep rolling here. Looking at Thursday games. Thursday game. Cowboys at Eagles. Outside of CeeDee Lamb, I just don't see anything, right? I don't see anything. Yeah, you got the former Denver back Williams there. The Cowboys, I don't think their offensive line is great. I think the Eagles chew them up and spit them out, right? Friday, September 5th, from the Bolts from Brazil, not the boys from Brazil, the Bolts from Brazil. You know what? I'm going to go Chargers. I think I've changed my mind. I'm going Chargers in this one over the Chiefs. I think in the end, the Chiefs will supplant the Chargers. I think they'll be the second team in the West, but I'm going to go Chargers. I do like Harbaugh, and I had high hopes for this team, but when you see some of the injuries, I mean, they got trouble with their long snapper. I mean, it's the Spanos curse, right? It's the Spanos curse, and I don't know if all the good vibes of Harbaugh can overcome that, right? I just don't know. So Eagles over the Cowboys, Chargers over the Chiefs, Sunday, September 7th. Buccaneers over the Falcons, even in Tampa Bay or in Atlanta. Buccaneers over the Falcons. Bengals over the Browns. Now imagine this. Imagine the Browns pull off an upset here, right? Imagine their $40 million edge rusher blasts Joe Burrow, and everything falls apart for the Bengals. It could only happen to the Bengals, right? But Steeler fan Rob's going to be doing cartwheels, but I don't think that's going to happen. I'm going Bengals over the Browns. I didn't want to do this, but I'm taking the Dolphins over the Colts because I think the Colts have talent. Dolphins have some talent too, but I like Tua right now better than Daniel Jones. If the Finns lose, the Mike McDaniel fire watch begins, okay? I think he's in serious trouble this year, but he's got to really win. Cannot be surpassed by the Patriots. Got to get in the playoffs. Otherwise, his party is over. But if they lose to the Colts, I think that dude could be gone by midseason. Panthers at Jaguars. I'm going Jaguars. Raiders at Patriots. An underrated game. A lot of people are talking about other games they want to see. I hear Raiders Patriots. I'm thinking Sugar Ray Hamilton and that cheap call in the 76 playoffs. I'm thinking Matt Millen and the Sullivan guy getting into it after the 85 playoffs. There's a lot of history there, right? Of course, you got Stingley and Tatum, and that some really sour stuff there. And then, you've got the Tuck game. Raiders Patriots, an interesting game. You got two teams that are clawing for space. I think the Raiders are going to come out hard, but that's going to be matched by Mike Vrabel's team and their intensity. So I'm giving the Patriots the edge at home. Cardinals at the Saints. If Arizona loses to New Orleans in week 1, Kyler Murray might be run out of town before the season ends. Steelers at Jets. I'm going to go, because it's the Jets, I'm going to go Steelers. I'm going to go Steelers in that one because it's really hard to take the Jets. Giants at the Texans. I'm going with DC in this one. Texans win this one, although the Giants will be dangerous this year. Titans at Broncos. They got the orange team is pretty bad this year. In a bad way, bad tough guy way. I like the Broncos over the Titans. 49ers at the Seahawks. I think the Seahawks are out to prove something. I think the Seahawks are going to rough up the 49ers, and it's going to be to the Rams' benefit. The 49ers are going to get beaten up in this game. I'm going Seattle at home. Lions at the Packers. Green Bay wins. The KBM dismisses Detroit. Detroit bounces back for the rest of the season. Texans at Rams. I expect the Rams to provide a federal pounding to the Texans defense. Sunday night, Ravens at Bills. I'm going Buffalo at home. Ravens win. They're going to be declared Super Bowl champions. It always happens. Remember, Ravens in September and October, everyone's picked for the Super Bowl, but then January and December come. But Bills beat the Ravens at home. And then Monday night, Vikings at the Bears. Is it at the Bears? Or is it at – where's that game at? I'm going with the Bears. I really am. I think they're going to be highly motivated. And, I think it's Vikings at the Bears. So I'm going Bears at home against J.J. McCarthy. And so that's where I stand on those. Man, Rob, Steeler fan Rob says, thanks, Tim. Manny Vasquez, with a better quarterback, Arizona would really be dangerous. So, yeah, they'll probably run him out of town if they don't get at least a playoff win. Absolutely. Now, I know the guy makes some great plays, right? They showed the highlight of that, what was that, 3 or 4 years ago, where he just ran all over the field there in Vegas and then eventually just ran it in for a touchdown. He makes splash plays. He's going to make highlight reel plays, but consistently driving a team, I just don't see it. And to me, body language, shaking your head, pointing fingers, the disposition he had in that playoff game against the Rams in 21, I'm just not that guy for Kyler Murray. I'm just not. Now everyone can grow up and mature, but I'm just not that. And he's my saving grace because I think the Cardinals are a team on the ascent. I really do. I think they're a team on the ascent. They're getting things right. I think their big holdback is going to be Kyler Murray. Now, his contract's in the 40s now, which when they gave it to him was outrageous, but it might be doable with the salary cap escalating. You can get rid of some of that money now. And, yeah, they could move off of him. He's going to end up in Pittsburgh. Let's see. USA Expat. If 49ers get blown out, then Kyle Shanahan should be looking over his shoulder. Kyle Shanahan will not be fired during the season, I don't think, but he's another guy that I got to believe was on the hot seat. The 49ers have missed way too many picks. A lot of top 100 picks. They've whiffed on way too many picks. So John Lynch is in trouble. And Kyle Shanahan has given away 2 Super Bowls, right? He's given away 2 Super Bowls. Now, you know, they try to put that Super Bowl against the Chiefs on Steve Wilkes, but you're watching the clock tick down against the Chiefs in overtime. Chiefs are going to make the last play of the game. You know what? It's about the last play of the game. Call a timeout and set your defense. Even if your defense coordinator didn't do it, what's Kyle Shanahan doing? But he didn't do it. He biffed that game. Brock Purdy could be a Super Bowl champion right now if a game manager. Now, I'm not saying Shanahan's not a good coach, but if someone who really knew how to manage a game was his head coach, he'd probably have one of these right now. And so I think someone's going to have to take a hit there. Someone in Frisco. Could you imagine Frisco coming up short this year, missing the playoffs, right? Or being a real quick one and done in the playoffs? I think they're going to miss the playoffs. How do you sell that? Trent Williams is another year older, right? George Kittle's another year older. Christian McCaffrey's another year older. Fred Warner's another year older. Bosa, is it Nick Bosa? Nick Bosa's another year older, right? How do you keep saying we're going to keep bringing this team back for one more run? I think it all gets blown up. And if they don't fire Lynch is going to get rid of probably Shanahan. At some point, you got to kind of move on, right? I think he's in real danger of becoming his father at the end of his career. You know, Mike Shanahan was never a bad coach at the end of his career, but boy, he was awful mediocre, right? And that's how I see it with the 49ers. Neil Gonzalez, did you watch Behind the Grind? No, it's appointment television tonight. I will be watching it. Manuel Vasquez, the media wants the Bears to win so bad. Yeah, I do. I believe that. Absolutely. I absolutely do that, Manny. Willie Bowen. Hola, Manny. Okay, Willie's saying hi to everybody. Willie Bowen's saying the Winers stink. Hopefully, maybe what we'll see with the Rams is they'll line up in an I formation and put Kobe Turner in at fullback, right? To make Willie Bowen happy before the Rams plow into the end zone. There you go. Kyle Shanahan has become a bona fide choker. Manny Vasquez. Well, there's just stuff there, right? Yeah, I know you can't put the Falcon loss on him, but in the Super Bowl, but he was the OC. He was up 28-3, 27-3, whatever it was. I don't know. he kind of owned Sean McVay there for a few years, but in those big games, right? Isn't it funny how he owned Sean McVay all the way through, but when it was the NFC Championship game, Rams got to him, right? Rams got to him. So, yeah, interesting stuff there. But I do think he's one of the guys that are in trouble. Mike McDaniel, I think, is in trouble. I think if the Bengals fail in a massive way, I think Zach Taylor's in trouble. I don't think Mike Tomlin's in trouble, but I can see Mike Tomlin stepping away. I don't think they're going to mess with Stefanski there in Cleveland. The Texans, DeMeco Ryans, no, I don't think so. I think if they have a bad year or he doesn't work out, he gets most of next season, and then it becomes an issue. Jaguars, Liam Cohen, first year, no. Steichen there, and with the Colts, I don't think so. Not yet. And Callahan with the Titans, it's going to have to be a Matt Eberflus kind of disaster for him to get fired, and I don't think it's going to happen. Peyton, no, he's not getting fired with the Broncos. Andy Reid may retire, but he's not getting fired. Harbaugh's not getting fired. Carroll's not getting fired with the Raiders. Nick Sirianni, no. Dan Quinn, no. Dayball, I don't think Dayball is as much trouble as everyone thinks. I really don't. I think they're gonna. They struggle. They got some pieces on defense. They got some pieces on offense, and they're not going to bring in another quarter unless there's an attitude issue or some kind of player revolt. I don't think the Giants are going to move off Brian Daboll. I really don't. I think out of spite to the NFL, Jerry Jones will not move off Brian Schottenheimer during the season. So that's there. Dan Campbell's not going anywhere. LaFleur's not going anywhere. Ben Johnson, unless there's some kind of Hackett meltdown comparable to what happened in Denver, Ben Johnson's not going anywhere. Kevin McConnell's not going anywhere. Todd Bowles isn't going anywhere. Raheem Morris, on the other hand, I'd keep an eye on him. The kid Canales there with Carolina, no. Kellen Moore, what a mistake, dude. Never should have taken that job. He's not in trouble. McDonald's not in trouble with the Seahawks. McVay, he leaves the Rams. It's going to be by his own wishes. And Gannon's not in trouble with the Cardinals. But I think Shanahan could be. I really do. I think we could see some big names change going forward. Let's see. Paul M., go Rams. Yes, go Rams. Manuel Vasquez, top 5 defense or top 10 defense. Potential for top 5. Potential absolutely for top 5. USA expat. But again, it's all the measurables. Is it yards? Is it points? How are you measuring that? I don't care about useless points at the end of a game, but it's how do you measure that? USA expat. When teams fire their HCs, do not look to the Rams for replacements. Who would be up? Shula. If the Rams go the distance, even if they don't win, if they go to the Super Bowl, Shula's going to get offers because of his name and everything. He's going to get offers, and that's just how it's going to be. The other LaFleur, is it Mike LaFleur? Yeah. Matt's in Green Bay. Mike's the OC for the Rams. I don't know if he's as high up on the list. He's kind of suffered from the Bieniemy syndrome, where does he really call the plays, or is this a McVay show, right? It's going to be one of those things going forward. So let's see. Is Verse not playing? Listed as questionable. No, I did not see that, Mr. Burns. Did not see that. Questionable usually means you play. I did not see that. That could be concerning. Neil Gonzalez. Wouldn't it be funny if LaFleur and Shanahan switched places? I don't know if you leave Green Bay. Why would you leave Green Bay? Because that team's on the ascent. That team is on the ascent, and I got my dog in here. My dog just ran in here. He heard me mentioning the 49ers, and one dog tracks the other. So there we go. Manny Vasquez, I hate how the NFL ranks defense by yards allowed instead of by points, which win or lose games, because prevent defenses with big leads piles up garbage. Yeah, I don't know if there's a perfect metric there. I don't know. What's so funny about the NFL too is, you can nail some of that stuff down because of all the metrics. Like, I really want to know what's happening, in the fourth quarter, right, in a tight game. Those are the metrics that matter. What's the completion percentage of a quarterback in a tight game in the fourth quarter? That's the completion percentage that matters most to me. Also, I'm amazed how, in baseball they had ERA and your real ERA and all that kind of stuff. How in football they don't break down? Guy throws 17 picks. Okay, he throws 17 picks, but 3 of them went through his receiver's hands, right, or bounced off the receiver's chest and got picked off, or we all know nowadays because of film and everything we've seen. We know if the quarterback generally throws outside and the receiver cuts inside, generally, if it's a Matthew Stafford, a Tom Brady, a veteran quarterback, it was the receiver that made the mistake. And that should be like, they got interceptions for receivers, but then there's the real interception total, which could be 11 or 12, right? And they don't necessarily do that. USA expat, strength of schedule never plays into stats either. So yeah, I think it when you see it. Best defenses I ever saw: 79 Rams, the 2000 Ravens. 2000 Ravens were off the charts. I can't even talk about the 2000 Ravens. And I know those Steeler defenses were great, but what I feel good about the Steeler defenses is in 75 and in 78, the Rams beat those Steeler defenses. In years, the Steelers won the Super Bowl. So there you go. Put that in your pipe and smoke it. Let's see what we got here. Paul M., I believe the Rams will defeat the Houston Oilers this weekend. I mean the Texans. There you go. 24/7 Rams. 24/7 Rams is what I got. Let's see if we got anything on this day in Rams history.
It was a stone group.
Let's see here. Man. Let's move this sucker down. Rams lost their coach on this day in 1948. Bob Snyder resigns as head coach. Clark Shaughnessy is named the head coach, and he has some success with the Rams. But a lot of stuff there because the Rams' original owner there was Dan Reeves, or early owner was Dan Reeves, who bought the team, and he was kind of a character. Someone should have wrote a book about him. On this day in 1962, the Rams acquire a linebacker that played at USC named Mike Henry from the Steelers for Clendon Thomas. Clendon Thomas, whatever. Mike Henry goes on to play Tarzan and star in a bunch of John Wayne films. I think he starts 2 seasons for the Rams and is in Smokey and the Bandit. Mike Henry. Yeah, there you go. Let's see. On this day in 1985, Rams waived their version of Antonio Gates, former USC basketball player James McDonald. Yeah, he wasn't Antonio Gates. 1986 on this day, Rams acquire former USC linebacker Steve Busick, Temple City alum, from the Broncos for an 11th round pick in 87 and a 7th round in 88. Busick was a heck of a run stuffer. I think he ended up replacing Mark Giroux, but he had a bad knee, so he didn't get much run here in LA. 2001 on this day, the Rams traded quarterback Joe Germain, Ohio State, to Kansas City Chiefs for a 6th round pick. On this day in 2012, I'll let you pronounce it. I'm going to put his name in the box, and I'll let you pronounce this guy's name. The Rams released this tight end here, Michael, whatever. You're not going to work here anymore. That's it. That's what we're going to name him. Humanawi. Yeah, can't say his name. He's not going to work here anymore. They released him. I think he went to the University of Illinois. Let's see. On this date in 2016, the Rams released Akeem Ayers, who I saw play in high school. Yeah, I saw Akeem Ayers play in high school at Bourbon Day. And then sadly, on this day in 1998, former Rams linebacker Rick Kay died in an auto accident on the 215 freeway. He was 48, which is really interesting there because I think it was on the 395 that Carl Eckern died. A year or so after he retired. And then another Ram linebacker, Larry Kelm. Remember Larry Kelm? He actually spent time with the 49ers. He died in a hunting accident. I think he fell out of a tree about 10 years ago in Texas. So, and then Isaiah Robertson died in an auto accident as well. Not a healthy thing to be a former Rams linebacker. Okay, September 4th, tomorrow. In 1957, on September 4th, the Rams sent a couple of journeymen named Jim Freeman and Brad Myers to the Steelers for a draft pick. And that draft pick turns into quarterback Frank Ryan. Frank Ryan plays a couple years with the Rams, and then he follows this trend of the Rams trading quarterbacks who end up winning titles. They sent Van Brocklin to the Eagles. He won a title. They sent Billy Wade to the Bears. He won a title. They sent Frank Ryan to the Browns, and he won a title, all there in the 60s. There you go. Maybe Steve Ramirez, remember this? He's not online today, I don't think. Rams trade cornerback Gene Howard, who had 9 interceptions in 2 seasons with the Rams as a corner in 71 and 72. They traded him to the Lions for a draft pick. Rams cut Bob Stein on this day in 1975 on September 4th. I think that's about it. Oh, September 4th, 2017, the dream dies. Nelson Spruce waived in an injury settlement, the great Nelson Spruce. And then finally, this bears mentioning because it's a crime. A lot of those Ram players of the 60s suffered like the Ram players did of the 70s, like Maxie Bond. He didn't get a look really until much later at the Hall of Fame. But on September the 4th, 2023, Eddie Metter died. I got to connect with Eddie Metter on Facebook before he passed, and just a great Ram. He was 86 when he passed away in 2023. He was a Rams safety, spent all of his 12 seasons with the Rams from 59 through 1970, 6 Pro Bowls, 46 picks, 160 starts in 163 games, missed just 1 game. He was a 7th-round pick out of Arkansas Tech. In fact, he wore number 21 before there was Nolan Cromwell. And what an absolute crime that Eddie Metter is not already in the Hall of Fame. Had to get that one out there. All right. I think we got most of our stuff in. We're coming up to the 60-minute mark. We want to make sure we pull out here. USA Expat, I saw Carl Eckern play in high school, Fremont High School in Santa Clara. Oh, wow. Really? Carl Eckern was that blue-collar guy, right? Just worked his way up. Little different player than Michael Hoyt, but one of those guys you didn't give a chance to. He's not going to play. Jack Reynolds is here. He's not going to play. He's just a backup guy, right? And yet that guy just kept hanging around for, about 12 seasons, 13 seasons? 12. Was it 76 through 87 or 75 through 87? San Jose State. And finally, when the Rams went to a 34, he got playing time and proved his worth. Carl Eckern, man. They still give out a Carl Eckern Effort Award in the Rams. So that tells you the impact he had. In fact, he died on the 395. He was driving, I don't know if it was to Lone Pine or someplace, but he was on the 395 and he got into an accident. He was going to do some coaching, coach some kids in a football clinic or something, and he died in the accident. So tragic there. All right, guys, I think I'm going to let you go. I think we're there. We'll watch football tomorrow. We'll come back on Friday, and we'll talk some more RamView. Thank you so much for joining us. Continue to buy the books. Hit like, subscribe. Keeps us in the algorithm. Check us out on Spotify and iHeart. And just thank you for your support. Sorry, Steeler fan Rob, for being so harsh on you today. But I did ultimately take you against the Jets. Rams 24, Texans 7. Yeah, that's what I said. All right. God bless, guys. Talk to you soon.